Hello, my astrology friends. This is Lada from AstroladaOfficial, and these are your June 2025 horoscopes. June is very interesting month. We have Jupiter moving to Cancer on the 10th of June. For the last 2 years, Jupiter, the great benefactor, the one that's supposed to give abundance, growth, healing, expansion to every one of us, has been in two signs where it's very weak, in Taurus and Gemini. So these qualities of growth, expansion, optimism, you can see it even around the world. They have not been so easy coming to us. But Jupiter moving into Cancer is where it's strongest. And it will stay there for a whole year till next summer 2026. So those qualities of growth, of opportunities, will multiply, will become bigger. The ability to grow and to expand will become bigger for us over the next 1 year. I mean, fertility as well. Jupiter in Cancer is very fertile. The fertility of the land, the fertility of the animals and humans themselves should improve. So should the conditions of families. Cancer rules normal families. The good qualities, the good conditions around the world for even buying real estate should improve. For maybe laws will be, Jupiter rules laws, will be accepted kind of around the world in different places. That will give more preference for families, for normal people, which is Cancer. So we have a lot of wonderful things that are going to start the inception gradually from June. But initially, before this growth, this opportunity comes to us, right in June and July, Jupiter will receive a challenging aspect from Saturn and Neptune, because simultaneously in the whole June and the whole July, we're going to have Saturn and Neptune together in the sky. This happens once every 35 years. The last time Saturn and Neptune were together was the fall of the Berlin Wall, a big, huge socio-economic change starting to happen. And so the times are, this Jupiter, yes, will help us grow, but at the same time, we have very unstable social, economic, political times. And June and July are a peak. And again, Saturn and Neptune will meet in February 2026. And so the whole 2025, 2026, even into 2027, we have this Saturn-Neptune conjunction that starts a new cycle. But it's very powerful in June and July, because it's not only Saturn and Neptune, but the Jupiter squaring them. So the three gas giants are interacting in June and July. Plus, towards the end of June, there will be a new moon. The sun, the moon, and Jupiter will align in one line like that together. While at the same time squaring, which is a challenging aspect of corrections, of growth, of some crisis, will square Neptune and Saturn. So probably the peak month of 2025, of some very important social, economic, political, and even natural events. Watch out for big natural events happening. Two of the planets, Saturn and Neptune, are in Aries fire, and the a new moon with Jupiter, the moon, and the sun, the other three super important bodies in our solar system, is happening in water, in Cancer. So there can be this play in nature between fire and water. In some places it will be water big events, in other places there will be fire big events. We don't know which, but I have to put it out there. And internally, this is the clash of water and fire within us. And what happens when water and fire bring together? It's steam. It will get steamy. It will get tumultuous. This is also volcanic energy. Volcano fire erupts and falls into water, Cancer, where the other planets are, and solidifies into something. So water and fire can create earth. They can create something new, tangible, and real. But the initial clash, it's intense. They actually, even in esoteric knowledge, we know that the battle between the creative forces happens on the verge of water and fire, where demons and angels battle each other, but they together create the reality that we have. So we have this massive epic battle of the giants, of the Jupiter, Saturn, Neptune, the sun involved as well. So there'll be tension within us. Imagine water is emotions, fire, it's so fire is an impulse to act, so the emotions will be very intense. There will be a lot of emotionalism in our reactions. So be aware of that. And because Jupiter is the desire to expand, to grow, optimism, faith, Saturn is the impulse to block that. So there will be moments of I feel very high and excited and inspired in June and into July, and moments where I feel the energy of Saturn. So seesaw, optimism, pessimism. Yes, I can do it. New inspiration. A new moon aligns with Jupiter, the sun, and moon in the first degrees of Cancer on the 26th approximately of June. And that's a powerful impulse for new beginning to fructify, to give birth. Cancer is a very motherly sign, creative sign, to give birth of something new that is, it will be very fruitful. But we have to overcome some challenge, and it might be the challenge of reality. Saturn rules the rules of the world, the materialistic obstacles we need to overcome, or the materialistic laws and rules that we have to follow in order to fulfill these new visions. Because definitely Jupiter in Cancer wants to give birth to something brand new, beautiful, very expansive and very fruitful. But at the same time, specifically in June, we have to overcome some obstacles. And this energy, how we're going to feel it collectively and internally. First, the markets, the financial situation can be quite crazy in June and into July. They can be, every time Saturn squares Jupiter, in the last year, we had it 2 times over the last 12 months. We always had the markets plummet because there's some rearrangement of layers. So we can expect something like that, similar as well. Also in personal financial circumstances, some rearrangements of layers and uncertainty, or having to overcome some obstacles as well. But generally, what Saturn square Jupiter is asking us to do is to build something new on the something, maybe, breathe new life into old plans. Saturn is something old. Jupiter is something new because it's just starting a new cycle into Cancer. And so we need to breathe something new into the old plans, or we can bring new something new wants to be born out of the old, but maybe through a crisis, because we have this square. And the other way we can see this energy playing out is we need to sacrifice something. Saturn Neptune conjunction, it's about sacrificing or giving up something in order to allow another area of our life to grow up. So if you have such themes in your life, no matter where it is, just know is that this big battle between all those planets here. Give up something or sacrifice so we can grow in a different direction of life. It's okay. Another way Saturn Jupiter square can play out is to realign your plans and goals, especially in business, especially the ones that are about the worldly achievements, because Saturn and Jupiter rule the external world, your goals, and realign them to make them more practical. And especially Saturn squaring Jupiter asks us to kind of pare down somehow our endeavors and concentrate our energies on some kind of more practical or fewer projects, or more high quality projects. So instead of big number, so if you spread yourself thin in a few places, you're doing a few things. Now it will be the time, June and July, paring down, just focusing on the really high quality projects or really high quality decisions in your life, and removing certain excess ones. So there is this concentration, but also whittling down of excess, whittling down of too many things, to focus on something very high quality, because Jupiter in Cancer is very high quality something, but just not too many things. And another way it can play out as well, and it's to cut down your liabilities, because Jupiter can also indicate expenses where we spend too much time or money or energy or emotions that is basically a liability, that it's a waste. Saturn will show us what is a waste to remove it when it's squaring Jupiter. So really beautiful things will come through Jupiter in Cancer, but more towards the second part of the year. More will start feeling it when Jupiter becomes visible and stops squaring Saturn, which is from August. Those opportunities will become easier to grow into, to expand. This very powerful growth of Jupiter in Cancer. Jupiter is the strongest there. Growth, abundance, wealth. Jupiter rules all of those things. Joy, happiness. But June and July, it's still it's time where you whittle down, where you spread yourself too thin, extra expenses, extra liabilities, where you've been overdoing, where you have been overspending yourself thin, or overspreading yourself thin, or overspending will come under scrutiny during that time. But this is the preparatory stage for something big and something wonderful that you'll be blessed with over the next 1 year. So even if you have moments of uncertainty now in June and July, moments of like a crisis, like in a battle between light and darkness, between confidence and because Jupiter symbolizes to have faith, to be full of confidence, and Saturn is kind of like putting a brake on it or making you question what is realistic, what is not. But there will be some new ideas that are born, especially towards the end of the month, of very powerful new circumstances that are born and opportunities into your life towards the end of June, after the new moon in Cancer, while at the same time it will require either sacrifice or scrutiny or some real alignment and rearrangement of your other plans and other responsibilities, so you can focus on the things that are really important. And the Saturn-Neptune conjunction, I'll speak a lot more about it in the July videos, but it is happening. I think worldwide it will be very strongly activated in June, because Jupiter and the new moon trigger this conjunction in June. So watch out for big geopolitical, social, economic, big shakeups and new beginnings as well, because these are cardinal signs. Cancer and Aries, these are signs of new beginnings. Cardinality means to new circumstances, new beginnings. But because they're at a square, it's like you're moving forward with new beginnings. But I always love to give this example, but the cart is moving forward. Big spin of the wheel is happening, but the wheels of the cart are square. So, so the journey starts like that. Rough. Yes, new things start, but it's a rough start. And it's normal sometimes, it's I also, Saturn Jupiter is when you can curb certain overindulgent behaviors of yourself. It can be addictions, because Jupiter can be like overdoing something, and the initial stages are difficult. It's about retreating from society, going through the pains of not having what you usually indulge with. But after that, the abundance and the growth and the reward follows. Maybe I think we'll start seeing it from August. Whatever sacrifice we did, whatever more difficult choices we have to make now in June and July, and to prioritize in some direction. After that, especially September, October, November, December, such wonderful things are coming collectively to the world and individually, because in June starts the square of Jupiter and Saturn. But in towards the end of the year, so let's say the autumn in the northern hemisphere, Saturn and Jupiter hold a trine for 2 months. So there will be a big reward as well, big growth. But the new beginnings are now a little bit rougher, with some difficult decision, but they can be extremely, and down the line, they will be extremely productive, helpful, and let's say rewarding, especially if you do the hard work now. When Saturn and Jupiter, they require to keep a very moral principle stance of yourself. All right. So, and Saturn, Neptune, what can we talk about it? Again, it is connected to natural disasters as a possibility. It is connected to big political world events that will change. But this cycle lasts 35 years ahead. So we'll just see the seeds now of it. Because it's in Aries, it will be new political moves, new leaders, new direction of economics overall that will start just like when Saturn and Neptune joined last time in the early 90s, late 80s. The Berlin Wall fell, the communist regime in Eastern Europe fell. It was a brand new world. And the whole map, geopolitical, economically, will be rewritten over 2025 and 2026 through the Saturn-Neptune conjunction in Aries. It might be in very harsh ways as well, through very strong leaders or very unapologetic means, because Mars, Aries, doesn't touch lightly. It's like, does, uses force, basically. But there is another way to describe the Saturn-Neptune conjunction, which starts in Neptune in June and July. It's your ideals, which is Neptune, your belief systems, which is Neptune, will form and will be able to lay the foundations of something tangible and real, which is Saturn. A friend of mine had a vision about this combination, and she says it was given to you. I have very psychic friends. She wrote to me and says there was a message from Spirit towards you. And she said, I don't understand it, but it's for you. And she says, the waters you have chosen will build shores where there was none before. And I said, this is Saturn-Neptune conjunction that is just starting. The waters you've chosen, the emotional alignments, your beliefs, the water rules this, your beliefs, your ideals, and will determine, and also your, imagination. The waters is imagination, your inner world, your inner vibration, your soul qualities will build and will be able now to build shores where there was none. So you can create out of thin air, which is kind of Neptune, out of the imaginative, the idealistic world, the ideas in your mind, your inspirations, your dreams, you can make them into reality. And not just in June, July, this is a 1-2 year process, but it's starting now. What ideals are you going to get now? And how are you going to manifest them? Or what kind of inspiration, Neptune, are you going to receive now? Very rare. It's not going to happen again for 35 years. And how are you going to fulfill it? And let's start with the 12 signs, but I also have prepared for you Uranus in Gemini, which happens in July. A 5-hour webinar with 100 pages PDF with absolutely every possible aspect. Say if you're Leo, Venus in Leo, or Moon in Sagittarius, Uranus will oppose you, sextile you. What does it mean for you? And how Uranus in Gemini will affect you for the next 8 years. And I give, even for the hard aspects, very optimistic outlook, what to look and what to expect for the final result, because the final result is what we're looking here, not the turbulence of the transit itself. But so you can keep the goal and the purpose, the spiritual and even material purpose of this, what it is. So you make sense of Uranus, because when Uranus affects us, everything changes in the life, everything suddenly. Without the warning, bam. One day is one way and the other day your reality is different. So you can check it out. It's only $19, $20 for usually something that would cost $200. I want to make it affordable for you. So if you're interested, click on the link in the description below, and you can own it. For early birds, it's $20. It becomes $30 after that. Leo, Sun, Moon, Rising, June 2025. Leo, Neptune, and Saturn are meeting for the first time in 35 years. And in June and July, they're close together within 1 degree in your 9th house. And then they'll meet again there in February 2026. So kind of like a year ahead of you, where new inspirations are going to come to you. Leo, Neptune and Saturn are helping you. They're making a trine for you from another house that is considered another self house. So this is the house of self-growth, of expansion. And Neptune and Saturn there would ask you over the next year or two to really do a lot of self-growth, expansion of your consciousness, and to materialize new dreams of yours. Because 9th house is your plans for the future, your highest ideal of yourself, what is it the best thing you want to be, your highest ideal. So such new high ideals will be born within you starting from June, July, then it continue into 2026. So pay attention, because they would bring new opportunities for you. Neptune is an ideal. Ninth house is a Dharma house, the house that's very aligned to what your soul wants. And Saturn is a manifesting, to manifest something into concrete reality. So you can get new plans for the future, for example. You might see yourself a new vision as a new person. You can totally change your belief systems over the next year, couple of years, into something that, into your plans for the future to become more realistic, yet infused with new inspiration and ideal, which is Neptune. But before this whole process starts, especially now in June and July, there might be the need to whittle down some old belief systems about yourself, about your reality, some things that propaganda or that indoctrinations that you had since childhood. Because Jupiter is squaring for your 12, is going to square Saturn and Neptune in your house of beliefs from the 12th house, the house of the subconscious. And it can challenge strongly held, even subconscious beliefs of yours that you had about reality, about how things work in the world, about creation, God, your purpose in life, purpose in the meaning of life. So they can be, especially in June, because of this clash aspect, some kind of a bit of an existential dilemma within you, moral dilemma. Do I want to act from the highest moral principles that Saturn and Neptune are demanding from you and asking you to align to? You might require to remove certain behaviors that are immoral, like lying. Ninth house is the most moral house, and Jupiter from the 12th house can illuminate those self-destructive behaviors or self-sabotaging behaviors, in maybe not so pleasant way, because it clashes with Saturn and Neptune, to ask you to really question your morality, really question some moral dilemma, what is right to do for the highest good of me and others involved. Maybe to eliminate, as I said, might be lying, might be cheating, might be in some way being lazy, or even 12th house Jupiter can be something like self-sabotaging behaviors, like addictions that you need to address, and that you need to, and it's like a clash that leads to more growth, because it's an opening square, which means that when you solve this internal dilemma and clash, there's more growth following after that. And on a more material level, there can be some legal matter you have to resolve that is tense in June, July, that you're asked to resolve, and again, it can lead to more growth. It can be also the Saturn-Neptune conjunction can lead over the next 1 year to a new beginning abroad for some of you. Ninth house is abroad, in a foreign country, or a new beginning in education, especially because your sense of who you are and your plans for the future change and will be aligned to a higher ideal. So you might take pre-qualifying courses, so you might take on a path of education like university education or some degree or something else, like an opportunity to study and learn. But there need to be some sacrifice, especially in June and July, between old habits, for example, so you can follow this new ideal, or old belief systems, so you can grow and expand your consciousness in some way. Or there can be a new beginning connected to teaching something, to spreading knowledge. Ninth house, you might be put in a role with the Saturn-Neptune conjunction, which has a 35-year, it starts something now for you in the next 1 year, starting from June, that unfolds for 35 years. You might become a leading figure as a teacher, as an inspiration, as a counselor, as an advisor. This ninth house role where it's like a light to others, that's guiding light to others. Maybe you might find a new teacher or inspirational figure or role model, which is also the ninth house, that you follow and that changes your subconscious beliefs, self-sabotaging behaviors and addictions, that helps you overcome it. Or like a counselor, ninth house is counselor that you meet, or inspirational figure that leads you through the traps of your subconscious to overcome those traps. The 12th house is the subconscious mind. The 9th house is the superconscious mind. And we see both of those are strongly activated with Jupiter moving into your 12th house, Saturn and Neptune conjoining into your 9th house. So there is this, let's say, maybe not a battle between your subconscious and superconscious, but it's push from the universe to restructure it, to align your subconscious beliefs, 12th house, which are programmed in you from past lifetimes, to become aware of them. Jupiter is awareness, to become of those wrong subconscious patterns and beliefs and programming, past lifetimes or early childhood that you're unaware of, that basically dictate the whole of your reality, to align them to higher principles that you gradually master, higher principles that you gradually crystallize for yourself what they are, principles and ideals for yourself. But that can play out through some moral dilemma or something like that. But good time to study, to learn, to research, to open your mind to different points of view and realities as well. So there might be the need to sacrifice something for example, in the 9th house, like a belief system, so your subconscious can be healed, or to sacrifice some kind of a, let's say, plan for your future, or restructure it and change it to make it more realistic. And Jupiter will definitely, over the next 12 months, because it moves in Cancer from the 9th of June, it will start illuminating your subconscious, let's say, and bring memories, forgotten memories from past lifetimes, for example, can come to your surface, or from earlier childhood that you've forgotten. And it will start making, like, it will start readjusting your whole consciousness. Both Saturn and Neptune are in an area which is connected to consciousness, so is Jupiter. So it's like an internal rewiring, alchemical process that might feel a bit rough, psychologically, emotional, intense in June and parts of July, but that will take your consciousness to the next level of what you believe is possible for yourself, for the world. And releasing your Jupiter is a freeing, liberating influence over the next 1 year, maybe not immediately in June, maybe after August, when Jupiter becomes visible, to release you from unhealthy habits, unhealthy addictions, unhealthy programmed subconscious patterns. Also, it can open, as I said, both are in houses that ruled foreign countries or deep studies and education. So paths like that can appear for some of you. Or if you are like a teacher role for some of you to take, a leading, guiding role for others, because these are both houses of Jupiter, the 12th and the 11th, where the action is happening. You might be called to such a role. There might be some secrets that Jupiter illuminates in your 12th house, secrets that you've hidden from yourself that you are not aware of, as I said, or secrets that others have been hiding from you, which can really kind of, for a little bit, it can clash with what you always believed is true, the 9th house, what you always believed is how you felt the world is, your faith in others, your faith in yourself. It can be challenged for a little bit if certain secrets come to the surface. And that will make you change your whole belief system in a way. But those things have to come to the surface so you're free from them. And Jupiter can do a lot of healing of the subconscious, a lot of healing through your dream world, dream work you can do when Jupiter is in the 12th house. Releasing dream work, spiritual work, people that are teachers, advisors, or meditators, that the Brahmin roles, the teacher roles, very powerful impulse for them. For more normal people, it's kind of like this inner rewiring that's happening, an activation of foreign places or educational endeavors of some sort. You might have to do some sacrifice, as I said, initially in June because of the clash of those planets, to let go of something, but it's for growth purposes. And Venus is in your 10th house pretty much the whole of June. So it's good for your career, for work projects, with interactions with authority figures, institutions. If you want to talk to a boss, or if you're a boss, You'd come up more agreeable. Things will move there positive. There will be improvement, nice, pleasant things. Or ask for the help of some woman in power, or some woman that you respect, or some woman with more influence can somehow, or beneficial figure with more influence can help you in some way. But yeah, the big event is Saturn-Neptune conjunction that we talked about, but it's not just in June. And Jupiter in your 12th house, where it will help you let go of things easier and maybe prepare you for a path. You might have like a Saturn-Neptune conjunction 9th house. You might have like you might want to do a life of traveling a lot more for years ahead. Neptune will be in your 9th house for 13 years from now on. And so you might have to, you start the process of rearranging your life so you can travel, so you can be more free, so you can move easily. But it might require some sacrifices initially in other areas of life, so you can adjust to this life, or a life abroad, or a life of spiritual endeavors, because both houses are spiritual, or a life you might have to do some sacrifices so you can make the way for a life of spiritual search and growth and more focus on self-development rather than some material pursuits. In some ways, you have a chance now to prepare this ground. So yeah, this is Leo, one of the most important activations for you. Definitely put new ideals into practice, and Saturn and Neptune can help you fulfill a dream of yours into material, practical ways over the next 1 year, because they're together in your 9th house of divine inspiration. And yeah, and next month after that, Uranus will enter Gemini. So another new powerful new theme starts for you from July, which is very supportive for you. Both Neptune and Saturn are supportive. Uranus will be really supporting for Leos when it moves into Gemini. If you want to find out how Uranus will affect you over the next 8 years for many years ahead, check out my webinar on Uranus in Gemini. It's 5 hours and I cover absolutely every aspect. Uranus sextile your sun in Leo, Uranus sextile your moon in Leo, Uranus opposing, if you have, say, Venus in Sagittarius, what does it mean? Or Uranus transit in your 11th house. I cover absolutely all possible combinations. And it's only $20 for early bird, or $30 later on from July, and 100 and how many pages free manual that gives you alternative interpretations, real life stories of how people are affected by Uranus and what to expect. But Uranus is bringing a lot of rewards for Leo, just to give you a hint, through the 11th house. Thank you.